Welcome to another video, guys. The patch notes are finally out, and now it's time for us to see what the real buffs and nerfs are gonna be in Hearthstone, and also what this might mean for the meta. I hope you find the video helpful, and if you do, a like and subscribe would really be awesome, and don't forget you can hire for some Hearthstone coaching. Now, let's check out the patch. Huge thank you to Blizzard for actually providing us with the info nice and early so we can prepare this video in a timely fashion. Sadly, this time they did not create a nice little draft for us, so I took it upon myself to actually whip up a nice little, dare I say, better looking patch notes than the usual ones? I don't know, you guys tell me in the comments. And a huge thank you to Zeddy for actually providing me with the updated nerfed cards. He actually did go through the trouble of generating all of those cards from probably the cards generation site thingy. And some of them are not perfect, but you're still gonna get the gist of it. So yeah, let's start going through the patch so we can see what's gonna be happening. We can already see Low is on the patch, so we already know he's gonna get clapped, but you guys probably don't know how hard he's getting clapped. Okay, patch 3303 is rolling out with updates for Hearthstone, Battlegrounds, and more. We're only gonna concentrate on Hearthstone Standard, by the way, so no Battlegrounds updates here. You can check some dedicated Battlegrounds content creators or whatnot. Dev comment: with the launch of the Lost City of Angoro last week, our primary goal for this patch are to infuse power into several of the new cards and to tone down some older decks and early outliers. We're doing buffs early in this expansion cycle because we can see from the early data that many of the new cards are not meeting the expectations, and that nerfs alone won't result in the changes we want to see. Alrighty then, and starting off with the nerfs, first we have Low the Living Legend. He used to be a 7 mana and now he's getting butt clapped with the good old 9. That is actually quite the bump, guys. That is quite the bump of mana cost for this man, and he will be a lot harder for a lot of people to actually pull off now. Even today, doing something like turn 3 Low is not good enough for some matches, so I don't know, this is definitely a huge nerf to the guy. He will be having quite the issues of actually stabilizing games, so I do believe this greedy sumbitch is gonna be a lot less frequent now. We also have Quillbore with the Ball Hog. Old Battlecry Death Rattle deal 3 damage to the lowest health enemy, and now the new one is gonna be deal 2 damage to the lowest health enemy, both on the battle and the Death Rattle. And like I said, this is a huge nerf for the Pain Demon Hunter, but actually a buff for a potential Quest Demon Hunter this way, because Ball Hog now is actually going to be ticking the checkboxes of that quest while actually sustaining you. So I think this actually would be a very interesting change, and I'm interested to see how Quest Demon Hunter is going to be performing, because if you guys saw, the quest for Demon Hunter is also getting buffed, and it's going to require a little bit less 2 damage ticks, and this thing is going to be very helpful in there. Speaking of Pain Demon Hunters, we can also see Sock Puppet is losing a little bit of health, so this should probably mean that this card is not going to be as prevalent in that deck anymore. Maybe we're going to see a lot more Brain Masseuses, maybe Patches is going to come back to the deck, that kind of stuff. Even though this guy is still going to be pretty strong, he's not going to be able to take a hit as much. With Rogue, the Ever-Burning Phoenix is getting clapped nicely, and here we can see this is going to be a huge nerf, guys. This thing is only returning to your hand at the end of your turn, so this basically deletes the card from Cycle Rogues, I can tell you that much. So maybe the whole archetype now is in big danger, which I for one am not very sad for, but still, this is definitely going to be a huge change. And also this guy's coming back to Wild, but honestly, who's going to use this guy in Wild no more? I don't know, guys. I think the guy got deleted. Also, there are a few inconsistencies with the cards. You can see that the gem here is rare. Obviously, the card is still rare. So yeah, pay no attention to that one. If there are other inconsistencies I don't manage to notice, just know these are not the exact cards. We had to work with what we have in limited time, so this is the final result. And the dev comment here is, this is also now unbanned in Wild. Yeah, as we saw, it is indeed. But this kind of deletes the card for Rogue, basically, I do believe. Moving down to the Pally cards, and I was not expecting to see Ages of Light or Imbue Pally on the list here, but honestly, with everybody else getting nerfed, I guess Imbue Pally is also going to be getting quite the power back, so I guess they are going to be doing a little bit of a preemptive nerf of it before it actually goes out of control, even though this nerf is not that big a deal. It's more of a rebalance than anything else, but to be fair, this was the best thing you could be doing on turn 1 for the class for sure, and now this is going to be fighting with the other 2-drop Imbue cards instead. And yeah, this is going to be a 2 mana, and it's going to be summoning you a random 2-cost minion instead, still gives it a taunt. And to be fair, there are some pretty sick 2-drops in here, like the 2/6 for instance could be pretty huge, or maybe Doomsayer, so the card is definitely going to be very strong still. We also have Hot Springs Glider going down with the discount. It's only going to be discounting by once, so you're no longer going to be able to do this on turn 3 and do a turn 4 Tyranno Gill, I guess. unless you have the coin, that is. And also, this is gonna probably make things like Grunty obsolete in a deck like this, because it's gonna be way too slow without being able to cheat it out on turn 5 or 6. I do believe Grunty is just gonna be a card that's not gonna be needed in the deck. Brittlebone Buccaneer is also losing 1 health point, so this would be a nice little change. You're no longer gonna feel too safe about tempoing this girl out on turn 2 and think it's gonna be sticking. I don't think that's gonna be too huge of a change for all of the Death Knight decks out there nowadays. Like, this card right now used to be strongest in things like hand buff Death Knight, so you can actually reborn your Eliza and stuff like that. That deck is actually not that prevalent right now, so I don't know about that. You can obviously still use this in Starship with good success. You can still use it in Frost Unholy Menagerie Death Knight, but as you're gonna see, Menagerie decks altogether are not gonna be that dominant either, so with the combination of all the nerfs, this is definitely gonna shake up the meta for sure. We can also see another card for Death Knight, which is the Guiding Figure, and this thing is gonna be a 3 mana free 2 now instead of a 2 mana free 2. Kinda not that big a deal of a nerf, honestly. Yes, it is gonna be a little bit clunkier for the class, but not by much. I guess now you're not going to be able to play this on 2, play the other Starship on 3 and feel good about it. You're actually going to have to fight with what you want to play on turn 3, and it's also going to be a bit more expensive for you to actually combo off something like Exodar, put down another Guiding Figure, and then use the 1 mana Orbital Moon or something like that. So it's not the worst nerf, but I do believe Starship Death Knight is going to be a monster of a deck after the patch goes live, so definitely be on the lookout for that one. We also have Murmur on the chopping block, and this time they chopped off his head, guys. This time his head is gone. The nerf is your first Battlecry minion each turn costs 1, but it immediately dies after being played. From indefinite Battlecry minions to basically only your first one, this totally deletes the card, totally deletes the archetype. Murmur is no longer. I didn't see too much of it on the ranks I'm playing lately, but in Top Legends some people have really been blasting with this one, and apparently Hearthstone will have none of that. We can also see Brain Masseuse lost her health a little bit. Now she's gonna be just a 2-3, and this is gonna be a lot easier to handle for a lot of classes. Like, so many decks have access to 3 damage, but 4 damage, that is something of a premium for 2 mana at least or less. So this is gonna make the minion a lot less sticky, and I do believe this is a decent change. Both Demon Hunter and Fishing Priest have been abusing this card for too long, and the deck is just way too good. Both of them are. Wilted Shadow is also losing 1 point of attack, so it's not really a huge nerf, but I do believe this deck is still actually gonna be dominating. Right now this deck is super strong, it is getting even stronger, and with all of the other cards getting nerfed, this deck might still actually be kinda broken. Braingill also went from 2 mana to 3 mana. It gained +1/+1, but it also is no longer giving itself Death Rattle. It gives your other Murlocs Death Rattle draw a card, so that is actually a huge nerf, because this thing even on turn 2 was an okay play, and now on turn 3, if you don't have anything else on the board, you're not going to be very happy, and it's also going to be a lot harder for you to actually play some extra stuff on the board, so you can do even bigger, better things. Menagerie Jug also is going to be losing +1/+1 on the free friendly minion stuff, and that is actually kind of huge. So this is no longer going to be a 5 mana 12/12, it's going to be a 5 mana 9/9 now, which I do believe should have happened quite a while ago, because Menagerie decks have been way too powerful for way too long. All of the above disenchantable cards will be eligible for full dust refund for 2 weeks following the patch, and you guys know what my philosophy is on this subject. If you're not using the card literally right now, always disenchant the nerf cards, guys. This is as good a time to disenchant those cards if you can, so get yourself some nice little dust, like 1600 dust from Murmur, definitely very worth. If you're not playing Starship Death Knight, Guiding Figure gives you 400 a pop on a regular copy, that kind of stuff. Definitely always worth getting yourself all of that dust. Load a Living Legend might be very, very hard to pull off nowadays, so you can get yourself the 1600. If the deck still becomes strong, you're just gonna use all of that dust right back and craft them for the same price, but if you decide you don't like low after the 2 weeks grace period, well, you're gonna disenchant them for only 400, whereas now you get 1600 for the regular and 32 for the golden and so on. That's about it for the nerfs. Now let's talk about all of them buffs, and there's quite a lot of them. Reach Equilibrium now is only going to require you to cast 4 spells, both from Holy and from Shadow, and that should make it a lot more bearable, but I'm still not sold on the whole concept there. Maybe it's going to be good enough. 5 going down to 4 is not that big a number, but the deck right now is in an absolutely horrific state. Like, it's literally in the 10s and the 20s of win rate, so even with the buff, what's that gonna do? 40% win rate? Maybe, but I guess time will tell. Comboed off with all of the other nerfs that happens, the meta slowing down and whatnot, I do believe this might actually have some merit to it. Reanimate the Terror is gonna be a lot less restrictive now, only a single blood and a single green instead of double bloods. And this is huge because now you could actually use this in a rainbow deck, you could use this in a double unholy for some reason unknown to me, that kind of stuff, and you're also only gonna need 15 corpses to get the reward, but I still don't believe the reward is that impactful, guys. I don't know, you tell me, but feels like a little bit too much compromising just to get yourself that 8/8 do nothing kind of deal. I don't know, for me it's a little bit on the whatever side. Even if the deck is above 50% win rate, the whole point is it's above 50% despite the quest, not because of it, so I'm pretty sure the deck can perform even better without the quest itself, but do let me know in the comments what you guys think on that matter. The Shaman quest, Spirit of the Mountain, is also getting a little bit of tone down on the requirements. Now it's only going to require you 6 minions to play of unique types, so that is going to make it a little bit easier to happen, and it's also going to give you a better Spirit of the Mountain. I know this guy does not have his legendary border, I also know that this guy does not have his beast stack here, don't worry, it still has all of those, but now it also has Rush, and he's still doing all of the other things, so that is actually pretty awesome, because now he's not a 5 mana do nothing, he's a 5 mana 8/8 with Rush that can also gain Lifesteal and Wind Fury, for instance, or Divine Shield, Wind Fury, that would also be awesome, Divine Shield Taunt, that kind of stuff, so you can actually handle and stabilize the board a little bit. That would actually be huge, so this definitely might be worth running this quest now. I myself am planning of actually testing this deck sooner rather than later. As for the Hunter quest, the requirement is still the same, but the reward is gonna be discovering a 8, 6, and 4 attack beast now, guys. This is actually kind of huge because there's not that many beasts to be discovering from, so this is gonna be extremely reliable, discovering you some really amazing stuff, especially given that this is still gonna be setting their cost to 2 mana. This might actually be a good deck right now, guys, because getting random 8, 6, and 4, that was pretty crap, but now getting yourself to discover those beasts, and this thing also having Rush straight up, being a 9/9, that is actually kind of huge, and I do believe this deck actually has potential to be good right now. We also have Titan Grapher Osk, and I do believe it's still going to be pretty useless. It used to be a 7/7/7, now it's a 6/6/6, and it still gains a random Titan ability. Honestly, I do believe if this guy had Discover on him instead of gaining a random ability each time he's in your hand, would be much better for the class, much better for the quest, much better for everything, but I still believe the card is kind of on the useless side. We can also see for Rogue, the quest reward is going to be a lot cheaper now. It's only going to be 3 mana now, and it's also going to be gaining 8 armor instead of 5, so that is hands down the best hero card ever. None of them have been this cheap, and none of them have been giving this much armor, but obviously you're still going to have to shuffle 5 cards back into your deck, so that is going to take a while. But this might actually make the deck a lot better, given what all of the other changes, given how slow the meta might actually become. This deck might actually be pretty viable again, or more like for the first time ever. Opal the Unseen still is looking pretty useless. Now it's gonna have Stealth, which... who asked for that? I mean, I get it. Opal the Unseen, definitely nice little flavor text, but this thing's sitting at 6 mana. Like, what are we, a fucking druid? Ain't nobody had time to play 6 mana in Rogue. So yeah, it's a cool little quality of life change, cool little flavor text on it, but not really that great now, is it? We also have the 7 mana 5/5 going down to a 6 mana 5/5 Underbrush Tracker, so this is going to be a lot easier to actually pull off with the Rogue quest, so that is going to be looking quite saucy. And I do believe that with all of the support the quest Rogue is receiving, it might actually become a decent tier 2 deck at least. With Warlock, we can see we're only going to take 5 temporary cards instead of 6. That is nice and good, but honestly the problem wasn't how quick we complete this quest. The problem is the reward is kind of not that amazing, but the reward is also becoming amazing. I stand corrected, I forgot this thing also is going to be only a 3 mana now, so this is indeed going to be a lot easier to actually pull off, and you're going to have your hands on some really amazing Fell Beasts nice and quick this way. This should actually be huge for the class, and I do believe that Temporary Warlock is finally going to be on the menu, boys, and this is a deck I do plan on trying tonight. Moving down to the buffs for Demon Hunter, Entomologist Toru is still going to be as useless as ever if you ask me. It's going to be from 9 mana down to 8, still looks like a very far-fetched legendary card. I have this thing in signature, so nerf Wind Blizzard, I don't know, this thing still looks useless to me, at least for this expansion. If we have an actual way to cheat this card out nice and good in some other way, sure, but I don't know, the whole concept of this card is kind of weird. The Garishi Wasp, however, becomes pretty amazing here, and it's gonna be not a 6 mana anymore, it's going down to a 5 mana 2/7, and this thing has Rush, guys. I was saying that this card looks so weird sitting at a 6 mana 2/8 do nothing. I said it either needs a taunt or a Rush, and they finally gave it a Rush and made it cheaper, so this is gonna be huge for Quest Demon Hunter. All of these buffs to Quest Demon Hunter are really gonna be massive, and I do believe Quest Demon Hunter is going to be very, very nice tonight, so I will be trying something along those lines as well, so be on the lookout. As soon as the patch goes live tonight, 1 hour after this video goes live, I will also be live on Twitch, so do drop by and check me out if you wish. And like I said, the quest, it's only going to be 12 times to deal 2 damage exactly instead of 15. That is a huge change. The problem is you're still going to have to pay the 5 mana 8/8 do nothing kind of bullshit, but I guess you gotta, so that you can get the Garishi Colossus, and now the 2 damage actually starts clapping twice on the enemy you're attacking with 2 damage, which is kind of cool. We also have Cloud Serpent, and this guy becomes a 3 mana 3/3 instead of a 4 mana 4/3. Again, it's still an elemental dragon. This is just not a perfect card we generated, but close enough. And this thing becoming a 3 mana could actually make it usable in something like Quest Shaman, because you could actually copy yourself the quest reward. It's a little bit on the slow side, but it's definitely something worth thinking about. And if you want to be copying yourself an elemental or dragon, let's say you could use this in something like a Sandre Warrior or something, this card will be a lot better there. And last but not least, we have the Questing Assistant, and this guy from a 2 mana 3/2 remains a 2 mana 3/2, but now it's going to be dealing 3 damage to an enemy minion. It says it right here. It's a little bit of an imperfection on the text, but yeah, 3 damage to an enemy minion, so you won't be able to actually use this to kill off your own shit, but you're also no longer going to be able to go face with this thing, which is honestly kind of dumb. This card is bad enough as is, guys. You have to run a quest for it to be worth it, and you also actually now can't even go face with it, so that's kind of lame. I would not have minded if this became a 2 mana 3/2 deal 3 damage to an enemy, and not just minions, but it is what it is. Close enough, I guess. So yeah, that's about it for the whole patch. Do let me know in the comments what you guys think this will do to the meta. I definitely believe the meta will slow down nicely, and a lot of the quests are actually gonna start popping off. Like, I'm excited to try Quest Demon Hunter, Quest Shaman, Quest Warlock, Quest Hunter. So many quest decks are gonna feel a lot better now if you ask me. And if you guys want to check me out live tonight, when I'm gonna be trying all of these potentially new best decks, do drop by Twitch, and I'll do my best to entertain you guys with some next level plays potentially. As for the nerfs, I do believe actually Quest Valley is going to remain decently strong. Some form of aggro quest Demon Hunter still probably is going to survive this. Fishing Priest should still be pretty decently strong as well, even though quite a few cards got nerfed for it, especially the Menagerie Jug is huge. But yeah, I think things like Low Druid are not going to have super happy fun time after the nerfs, that's for sure. And Murmur Shaman definitely got chopped. But yeah, do let me know in the comments what else you guys think is going to be happening to the meta, and I will be reading those with peak interest. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, a like and a subscribe would be awesome. And don't forget you can check me out live on Twitch each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.